Now, general action items. Consider and approve contract for financial services 7.1. And if I could have John Dennis and Steve on this.
Yes, I'd be happy to. Chairman and board members, I feel like my highest duty to the council during our period is to move this city into a position where it's functionally viable, it's properly protected in terms of its risk management, that we have more than adequate financial reporting, that we become full-fledged members with the other cities in California on equal standing in terms of the League of Cities. And to that end, there is an extraordinary number of activities that have to occur. And frankly, it's why most newly incorporated cities fall way short of that mark by the time that they are supposed to incorporate. I am bound and determined, to the best of my ability, to provide you with individuals or services that are going to help us get in that direction. And to that end, we have two very major areas. This spills a little bit over into 7.2 as well. At the top of the list is our ability to process and account for all monies, revenues, both taken in and output. I would suspect that the average member of the public doesn't realize the enormity of the task of doing that. It's not just QuickBooks, it's really putting together an entire program of purchasing orders, what our investment policies are according to state law, of purchasing software that's adequate to the ability. As a matter of fact, we can't even purchase anything until we have a purchasing policy in place, and we can't do any of those things because we don't have banking reputation, like banking and credit relationship established. So I've searched up and down the state, both with my colleagues in the city manager's profession, as well as members I know from the league and others. And I think that I'm presenting to you this evening two individuals who are absolutely outstanding in the fields that they represent. And in a moment with the chairman, I'm going to ask Steve Stark first on the finance side to come up and talk a little bit about his responsibilities, what's going on. But I'd like to say before that is that there's only a handful of people in the state who have actually put together the kind of programs from scratch that we have to do. And it takes cooperation from the city attorney's office, it takes cooperation with the state and all the regulatory agencies to that effect, and then negotiating us a line of credit with the bank as well, or some kind of institution. A handful that have actually done this. There's a smaller handful that have actually done it with new cities, or near new cities, and of those, there's probably, you can count on the fingers of one hand, individuals that are available to do that. And I felt extraordinarily lucky when I was turned towards Mr. Steve Stark, who was willing to do that. In fact, we started the conversation some weeks ago, and he actually, without any prompting, he started the process and was looking at it and probably knows more about the finances of the city and the CFA than most people that have a copy of it today. So if we'll go to HR and admin next. The chairman is okay if I ask Mr. Stark to come down?
Yes, maybe we should probably just do everything that I provide 7.1.
Yes, sir. Let's start with 7.1. This is Steve Stark.
Good evening, Council-elect. I'm Steve Stark. It's very exciting times in the city of Lodabar, and I'm anxious to be a part of that. Just briefly, my background, I've been in local government finance for 30 years, hard to believe that myself, but 11 years as an internal auditor, so I kind of always say my career started right at the very basics at the bottom, analyzing systems and processes and procedures, and then 19 years as a finance director, and all of those 19 years in 4 California cities. So my task in outlining scope of duties with Mr. Danielson would be really to set the basic processes and procedures and systems in place for the city so that you will be up and running and transacting business on July 1st. So details like banking services, purchasing services, many of those John mentioned, investment policies and procedures, cash receiving, purchasing of software, hardware, So really to cover all of the little details that you'll need to be up and running. So looking forward to doing that. And it's an exciting time. 12 of my years was in the city of Santa Clarita, and it was a new city 20 years ago, I believe, and I was there in year 4, and in year 4 it was still a new city, and we were still doing many things the first time. So being a new city will stick with you a few years, but familiar with that, the background, the challenges of a new city, and also the excitement of a new city. Thank you.
Steve, stay up for just a second. So, City Council, have any questions? Steve? Thank you, Steve. We have considered an approved contract for financial services as an agenda item. Do you have any comments from the City Council? We took public comment. I got one turned in late. Go ahead and honor that. Okay. Gary Andre?
This is on 7-2, considering approval.
Oh, 7-2? I know.
There's nothing on here for speaking.
Oh, well, I'll bring you up at 7-2.
Okay, just want to make sure. Thank you.
Okay. Carol?
I don't have any comments. Well, I've looked this over and it looks like exactly what we need right now. Sometimes we don't even know what we need. And reading over this, it made a lot of sense, and that he will be only an independent contractor. That appeals to me. I think that's important right now, that we're not going to be taking on insurance or looking for contracts and that kind of stuff. So I'm completely in favor of it.
Well, it seems like we need to do this. Maybe question is, do I have a motion?
I'd like to make a motion that we, give direction to staff and the attorney to move forward with this contract.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.